The pain and the pleasure all come together, there's no reason. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening guys, welcome to Otaku Chris is Talking. This is your weekly 7 Deadly Sins manga review. This is for chapter 223. Welcome guys to my channel if you're new to my channel, and I do make regular 7 Deadly Sins manga reviews as well as other content, and obviously when the anime comes out I will be reviewing that, obviously. So season 2, I'm not talking about that Netflix season 2, the legit season 2 when that comes out. Super pumped, that's about that. So yeah, so also if you're interested in other anime manga content as well as the kind of shit in the background you see right here, hopefully you'll join me on my journey to becoming somewhat known in the anime community. I do have an anime amino, so you can definitely check me out on there as well. I post my content on there as well, and I see a lot of great content there, so it'd be fantastic. If you don't follow me on YouTube, you can at least check me out on there because community is important. So yeah, so this chapter pretty much continues on what happened in the past 2 chapters. I'd like to just reiterate, I didn't even bring up the first time, I'd just like to mention his when you try to use big words. What is this? I'm all over the place. I had a coffee. In London, it's 11:58 right now of this recording, and I had a coffee so I could do this review because I finished work. And that's also why I couldn't do a review for 222. So here's this review. This 222, it pretty much focused on, it was titled The Cursed Lovers, and focused on the secrets between Elizabeth and Meliodas, and her confronting him about the whole issue, and her saying like, okay, I have these memories things, what they are about, and literally Meliodas just kind of brushing it away, and that kind of whole development gets slightly resolved and more questions get open in 223 in today's chapter, which I thought was something it ended quite darkly, because obviously Meliodas, we never know what's going on in Meliodas's heart. And Elaine even mentions this in this chapter. I can't believe I didn't even write this in my notes. Just remember this off the whim. And Elaine even mentions that she can't see into Meliodas' heart, and she's able to see what people are really feeling, which is pretty cool. Hence why she was able to know that Ban was actually a good guy way back when he was trying to steal the Fountain of Youth, which is kind of interesting. Someone trying to steal the Fountain of Youth turns out to be a good guy. Anyways, maybe her power's out of whack. So yeah, so that was pretty much that. And Elizabeth basically is trying to figure out what the hell was going on, what was Zeldaris talking about, why are we cursed lovers, what did I make, why am I such a burden to Meliodas, and all of this kind of issues. At the end of this chapter, 223, we find out that Elizabeth, she's basically been dying and reincarnating over and over again for the past 3,000 years. Now, we as the audience knew this, but they didn't really touch upon this in this series, and only apart from last week's chapter was the only time they brought it up, and the end of the chapter before with Zeldaris kind of like saying to Elizabeth, yo, this is it. Like they've kind of tiptoed around everything about Elizabeth and her potential backstories and her potential previous lives, but it's been confirmed that these previous lives were legit Elizabeth. Like, she would live those lives, and then her memory would be erased and she'd be reborn, like kind of reincarnated, obviously in the future. And this has been going on for a while. What's interesting, we find out that once Elizabeth regains her memory, she's only able to live for 3 days. 3 days from once her memory has been returned to her, which kind of brings up several questions. One of them could be, does this mean that like Meliodas can never really like tell her about herself from the get-go, which is why he's been very distant from her? And is this kind of like why he has to try and kind of let her like him for himself and see if she really does fall for him? Because if he unlocks it and then he basically ends up kind of tells her everything, then she'll die in 3 days. But he wants to be around her, but she can't know, but she needs to fall in love with him naturally. So it's kind of like, what the hell kind of, he wants to be around her, but he can't be around her because if she remembers why she likes being around him, she will die in 3 days. Fucked. So I'm very interested to see why she has this curse on her. And why? It's technically the curse on both of them, so they're both cursed together. So it's like it got me thinking to myself, damn, what did they do to make to make people that mad to put a curse on them. If you watch Boondocks, you know where that phrase comes from. But yeah, so like a very, very intriguing ending of the chapter. This chapter had like loads of little bits. Got my little notes right here. They're on their way to the like city of Conrad, apparently, well, what used to be the city of Conrad before the massacre happened. So I'm very intrigued to see what happened with the massacre. Maybe a slight backstory. I know that we now that we have all the sins together, we don't really want a backstory, considering we just had one, the 3,000 year one. But like whenever they bring up small things like this, it is kind of nice to have the backstory. I'm invested in these characters, so I would like to be invested in their world. If you agree with me, do give me a thumbs up and let me know. Or if you disagree with me, just let me know in the comment box down below. I'd love to start a discussion on this kind of topics. And yeah, so feel free with that. And we also get a nice little section with like the best friends. Now when I say the best friends, with King and Helbram having their nice little talk back and forth. Helbram like congratulations King for getting with Diane, as well as like kind of on his on his wings as well, which is still hilarious, these small itty bitty wings. So that was like really, really nice. And then literally straight after that, we then get a nice little panel with Ban and Meliodas, and like them really having a heart to heart, and basically Ban explaining to Meliodas, look, I can not explaining, but asking if he can withdraw from this whole mini battle that they're about to go to. Meliodas explains, look, it's cool, I understand how you feel. And then Ban kind of finishes off his sentence and says, why? You get how I feel by, oh, you know what, I wrote the note here. You know how I feel having to let the woman you love die all over again. Now, obviously, Ban probably, I don't know whether Ban knows about the whole Elizabeth and Meliodas thing, or whether he was just saying this out of being spiteful, because like one of the next panels that we see is Meliodas is just kind of like looking sad and down, and it's really weird because we hardly ever see this with Meliodas. So these kind of things are things that like kind of make us see a bit more to Meliodas, having a bit more character depth, and especially with characters like Meliodas, who are always so bubbly and hyperactive and that kind of stuff, it's really nice to have these deeper moments with him, especially with Elizabeth as well, where we always get to see her be silly and muck around and stuff. So when we get to see her be angry or sad or kind of snap at Meliodas, or actually go into battle, it's kind of like, damn, Elizabeth, you're doing your thing. So that was pretty cool. So seeing those two dynamics between best friends of King and Helbram and Ban and Meliodas. Ban also mentions that he doesn't want to go there. Meliodas also says, oh no, Ban, sorry, I'm going all over the place, mentions, yo, I kind of want to stay back so I can stay with Diane, because the closer that we get to Conrad, the closer we get to Meliscula. And obviously, once we take down Meliscula, then there will be no more Diane, and she's already at her wit's end, so she's already gonna break apart anytime soon. So he wants to spend as much time as possible with her, and that's pretty sweet. It's very interesting to see how much he loves her. Because obviously, like, we know he loves her, but this is like, I want to see how he's going to react once she disappears. Is he going to just be straight up fucking ruthless, or is he going to try his hardest to save her? Like, how does Meliscula's commandment work? So I'm intrigued at that. If you guys are intrigued as well, or you guys have other questions about Meliscula, let me know what your questions and stuff could be, or how you think this could be resolved. Personally, I don't know. I think Elaine's going to die. I mean, even though she's been back for a while, she hasn't really had that much spotlight. She's had a little bit, but she's been sick the whole time, so it would have been nice to kind of see a bit more interaction between Ban and Elaine, because we've mostly had Elaine with the rest of the girls, which is also fantastic. Talking about the girls, Merlin tells off Diane, because once like everything's out in the open a little bit and Elizabeth's got her memories back, Diane's all gossiping about it to to King, and explaining, oh yeah, she lost her memories, blah 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 blah, this is what happened. And then Merlin turns around and says, I think she says something like, you kind of hold your tongue, be careful about what you don't know what you speak of. And you see for a hot second Diane kind of slightly scared of Merlin. It's kind of like, oh shit, this is some serious stuff. So it's either she's scared of her, or she's more like, oh, I guess this is a lot more serious than I expected. So this chapter had loads of little things here. So from the girls talking together to the guys separately talking amongst themselves with the best friends, as well as with Escanor thinking about Merlin and Merlin thinking about Arthur. It's just some weird, everyone's thinking about everybody right now. It's crazy how everybody's emotions are in flux. It turns out that next week's chapter hopefully hopefully we'll get to see Meliscula and we'll get to see her fight. It's we also happen to have all this 10 Commandments should have powered up now, and I say this because Zelda seems to have powered up since the last time we saw him. After the 3,000 year backstory thing, we found out that Zelda is able to harness the power of the Demon King, so that's actually pretty fucking epic. So where he wasn't that important before and Estarossa was the one that was like damn at the top, it seems that Zelda is probably the one at the top right now, especially as Zelda is Meliodas' younger brother. So we're going to get more of Zelda in the future. We're going to get Meliscula coming back, and hopefully, and yeah, she's going to be fucking pissed at Escanor, pissed at Ban, pissed at Meliodas. So what's going to happen there? Or do you think that Ban is going to get to her first? But obviously Ban can't kill her because of the whole Elaine thing. So many questions. So yeah, what was your favorite part of this chapter? Mine would have to be just the ending part, just because I like it when it gets kind of serious, and I also liked the connection between the different characters when they're just talking to each other, kind of being normal, just being friends, you know, all that kind of stuff. Because we see them for a while, but so much crazy shit has happened recently that we haven't really got to see them kind of just muck around and stuff, especially before some serious shit goes down. But all the seven deadly sins are together, so hopefully they can take down the bad guys. But hey, I don't think the 10 Commandments are the main bad guys. I feel like who is it? The Goddess Clan are going to be the main bad guys, especially as it's the whole curse thing, and maybe the Goddess Clan were the ones who cursed Elizabeth for going against them and helping out the rest of the other clans. But hey, anyways, that's my review. What did you think about this chapter? Hopefully you guys will do return. Let's try and reach 1,000 subs, guys. It's not that much, but hey, this past few months has been quite hard on YouTube, so it'd be pretty nice to see if you guys support me. If so, thumbs up, subscribe, notification bell, all that good stuff, and I'll see you guys next week. Chris is talking.